Alright, going to practice with another 10-5. Try to think about my thoughts out loud. I'm also going to put some notes in the description based off what I found on the analysis afterwards. Just going to play standard. Knight f6, my standard opening. Try to solidify some of these ideas. See what I'm missing in my games. Similar to yesterday's video, kind of like a Torre, except he's omitted the c4 move, which means opening this up is a little difficult. If he plays here, I could potentially get this queen in. Castling seems simplest. I could always hit this now if I want. Still a weakness over here. Not sure where these pieces want to go yet. h6. h6 is my first thought, just to get it in. I could play slower with d6. I could play a quick c5, which may be my next move now that the knight's moved. Because if he takes, I could, I think, play a5 to make it hard for him to defend the c5 pawn. I can't win it back right away because he'll play b4. But this helps me get some control in the center. I think it's kind of like a Queen's Gambit, where you let them take the c4 pawn, and before bringing your knight out or opening up so your bishop can protect, you play a5 in that case, or a4, something like that. Seems to make sense to strike the center. It's always a good idea, but maybe my queen wants to come here if he doesn't take. What can he do if he doesn't take? e4 is too weakening on the center. e3 is an idea. He also has this square if my queen does come out. So at some point I may want to play d5 also, but that weakens this for his knight to jump into. Where else do my pieces want to be? Okay, e4, yeah, it seems a little weakening for this particular structure, because now I can just take, and I think maybe my knight comes out. The only reason I like taking here is because it just makes this weaker. It does make his center stronger, so I want to play either d6, still an idea to get my bishop or my queen here, which is tougher for him to play right now because I have check ideas. His bishop's already out of commission to defend over there. So I may want to play this first, because if queen comes in, I can check. Other knight can't come back because I'll take here. This is also a weak pawn to think about. I'm threatening to hit this twice after knight c6. I'm worried about what this bishop can do. That's why I like the idea of d6, maybe d6 first, while I'm still defending this pawn. Yeah, I think this kind of goes in line with the bishop, then kind of wants to be here because I'm attacking this a couple of times. But I want to distract him with this pawn, see what he does. If he slides over a half sack, no, not right away. I need d6 first. I could always hit d6 or d5. And if he takes, I take, obviously. But if he pushes, I can come in here, which allows, if he takes, I take back with pawn. And then the idea was this would have been a weak pawn, but I think that's a little irrelevant now. Now the idea, this I want to get in, but I also think d6 makes sense first. Because this, followed by coming up here with my rook c8, needs to kind of be done. I still have check if he brings the knight to c4, which can be good. If he ever pushes, I now have an intermezzo. Okay. I think I want to get this knight into play. Hitting this twice now. There is an indirect hit on that pawn with my bishop on g7. But main idea is to get this somewhere, here or here, and then slide the a rook over. Keep this defending the f7 pawn. His ideas are to castle, get his rook slid over here. His queen's tied down to that pawn for now. Yeah, I think the bishop wants to go somewhere. I don't know if it wants to trade. Yeah, I have check. If he blocks with queen, yeah, I think check makes sense first. To watch my knight not get too stuck here. I could also hit here if he blocks with his f knight. The reason he played queen c2 is because now with his knight here, he's defending the pawn. I'm also defending my weak pawn here. Do I want to kick it? Probably not. I feel pretty trapped if I do that. This queen has to be careful, which is kind of why a move like d5 now could make sense. Because that's doing the same thing as this pawn. Kicking the knight, forcing him to make a decision I can take with this. That at least helps give me an escape square. Doesn't right away. He's probably thinking how he can trap my... Oh, you know what? The whole... Yeah, it's all foiled because of this. Okay, so that's helpful. I think I just want to hit this now because then I'm hitting the weakness here. If he hits me, I can slide back. Okay. This is looking like he wasted a little bit of time. If he comes here, I can come back. If he pushes, I can capture the pawn, hitting the queen. This also, indirectly, I can swing my queen over here. I think this makes sense to go here. He can't move that knight. He can't push the pawn. I'm threatening to take this after I capture the f knight. His king's a little exposed. I now have what I want with my rook going to c8. He's used almost half of his time. I've used about a minute. Minute 17. Yeah, this looks pretty good. I think now just get the queen over. I have an escape square, a better square if he plays b4. This knight is pinned now to the hanging bishop. Seems like that's the best move. Threatening to take here, hit this, hitting the queen. Kind of hitting everything. Okay, I thought he might do that. I'm now still threatening this pawn after I move my queen. This bishop is now defended, but if he moves the knight, this pawn hangs. I can still threaten to capture here, so he'll probably defend that pawn in some way. I can threaten this, putting his knight on a weird square, but he might want to go here anyway. If I capture and capture, I'm double hitting this knight once I move my knight. But I don't see how I can take advantage of that. Maybe ideas of playing g5 and then this just to open up another attacker on here is an idea. If he brings, say, the rook over here, I feel like he has to defend his queen because this pawn push also helps if this knight's out of the way. So maybe this knight wants to go somewhere, maybe even right away here, hitting this a third time. Can't capture, queen's undefended. Even if he plays rook c1 right now, I think that looks pretty good. Taking my knight away from the center momentarily, but he could play b3. Knight a5, b3. I could then play g5, b5. Okay, this kind of helps me because I was thinking about moving my knight anyway. So I think I can play it rather quickly. Yeah, I'm hitting the knight a third time. This helps me hit this square now. So b3 is even tougher to play. His bishop's out of commission if he takes. Like, this knight's not doing that much. Yeah, so I still think b5 wins. No, it doesn't win anything because he comes here now. But it does win this pawn in the end. I may want to insert this move first, because if he comes here, then b5, knight comes here, capture the queen, captures, 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 captures here. I win a central pawn, and I'm also hitting this one. So I think this move makes sense first. If he captures my knight, I'm hitting his queen, winning the rook, or winning the rook exchange, I guess. So I think this makes sense to do first. He's not threatening anything else right now. Yeah, do this first. Now b5. b5. What else can he play? Yeah, this exchanges everything. And I can bring my knight back into play in some ways here or somewhere. Hitting this first. Now, yeah, I do have to take the rook first to get his knight from hitting my piece so that this can move. And then coming in here, taking the pawn makes sense. I'm still pinning the knight. I don't see anything I can do about it, but I'm hitting this pawn now, so I'm up a pawn. Probably want to get this piece involved now that everything's kind of settled down a little bit. I also have tactics of this, doubling the pawns, and kind of reducing the pieces a little bit. He has this square, which you can get to pretty quickly. Feel pretty confident. I'm not really hitting the bishop here, like I am, but that bishop's out of play anyway. I could even consider moves like this. The bishop's been pretty out of play the whole game. So I'm unsure. Oh. Yeah, I didn't see that pawn was hanging. I guess because if I take, he's not hitting anything, take, I can do this and get check, exposing his king a little bit more. This bishop, this knight's not really doing anything, so I don't think I have to do that unless forced. I could probably start with this, or even keep that there and do this first, getting my rook here instead. He could slide back here. I could take and then do the whole plan. Yeah, I like the idea of an active rook rather than the bishop taking here, because the bishop takes, well, he can't take that pawn. I'd rather have a rook on the 7th, hitting this knight. Or, yeah. I think that's probably best. If he slides this piece up, this pawn up, I could probably then just take this pawn. Then it's a little safer. I'll try it. Worried about this. Not worried, but this knight, I don't have to rush to take, because... Oh. Yeah, I guess I did. Okay. Somehow missed that he could go there. Don't see a tactic. He's threatening this now. If I slide up here, I can at least get this other knight involved in the game. Alright, this knight can now come to the square I was talking about. Yeah, it's an even game now, in terms of pawns. May have miscalculated some stuff. Okay, I can also do some... No. I think... If I slide here, his rook's involved and he's hitting this pawn now. Yeah, I gave him activity. Okay, so I should have taken here first. That's pretty clear, because now this bishop is a little unsure what he wants to do. He had a purpose and he kind of forgot it. So I'm using a lot of time now. Unsure the best option. Pinning the rook that way. Don't really want to let him get to the 7th. Because then this falls too. Unsure. I have to worry about this pin first. That's why I'm really contemplating. Maybe I just slide back. Maybe that's okay. Hit this pawn. What else can I do? How does he defend that pawn? I don't think he easily defends it. Knight here can be met by... Oof. Yeah, maybe not. My bishop may have to go all the way back. Okay. I think he's in pretty good shape here. I am defending my piece. I could also take here and hit this piece, but then there's this pawn dropping. Now, I like it because... Okay, I've got an idea. If he does come here, I could capture here. If he takes, I'll take his knight. Takes with check, come here. He's out of checks, and I'm hitting his knight, or bishop. If he does anything else, I could probably slide. I could maybe even just slide back here. Maybe go this way. This square. He can't go there right away because I'm hitting his bishop. So I think just here first is okay. If he moves this, this bishop's hanging. If he moves it anywhere, if he jumps in here, I'm hitting this. I'm also threatening this indirectly. This a6 is always an idea. I just need to keep him from being okay. I feel like I have to go here. If I take the pawn, he takes knight. No, that loses. I could also slide the bishop back. If he takes, I take his knight. He takes back. I get his bishop. So that's a good way to win the piece back. Maybe I'll do that. Lots of intermezzos in this game. So this is more of a mid-game struggle. I feel like I excelled in the opening and then kind of got a little bit stuck. I think a lot of his pieces are a little undefended. So I'm trying to do some strikes like here. If he takes, captures the knight, we're even. He takes, I take his bishop, and then this pawn's exposed. I kind of like the idea of turning these two pawns into one. This also defends him from coming in here if he wants to later. Comes in here, I take the bishop. Okay, now I can kind of force some trades. Here, he takes, I take this, and I'm winning this pawn, I think. Takes the pawn. If I take here, he takes my piece. Yeah, maybe that does work. Take pawn, he takes knight, I take bishop, or take knight. If he takes with rook, I take knight with check. If he takes with knight, I take bishop. So I feel like I can go here. I only got, I'm up 1 minute right now. So take here, threatening this right away. Take. Let's try it. I'm not calculating everything, but if he takes, I can take here. I'm hitting his bishop. If his knight takes, if his rook takes, I'm taking with check. I feel like that gives me the activity I want, because then bishop can slide here and hit this. I can always hit that pawn later. There's no surprise checks on the board. I think I win a pawn there. I always have this as an out. I was thinking that first, but Why not clear things up in the center a little bit? Yeah, takes, bishop takes. Okay, that first gives me an out. I can also maybe take here first. If knight is forced to take, maybe I come in here. Maybe I don't have to get rid of the knight. No, I kind of want the knight to stay back. No, the bishop can now capture. So let's go here first. Okay. If he comes in here, I'm thinking just going up. This knight may be able to come back here, kind of prevent stuff from coming forward. Okay, he's getting some more activity. I can make a little mini threat. Can I get this piece going? Can come in here. Maybe this first. If he comes here, a quick move here makes sense, even though he's hitting that a couple of times. I feel like this could win a piece. Or even this, because, yeah, he can't. I'm threatening. He has no time to take a7. Yeah, he has to do that first. Gives me a chance to get everything going. I could take this pawn now. It's a risky pawn to take, but I don't have much time. I'm up 2 pawns. I could always swing back into the action like that, I think. I am threatening, actually, to take here and do this, forcing his knight back. So this knight has to stay pinned to this piece. Okay, so I have a feeling that this could possibly win some stuff back. Let's go here. He kind of has to stay here to defend this because I'm threatening, which I didn't see right away, this. Okay, so I think this, knight moves, check. This is defended. Checks are defended. I think this wins a piece. He can't move this knight because this pawn drops too. I'm glad I held on to that bishop. I think just the long side of it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, coming there drops a piece. Let's just take the piece. If he comes here, I've got some checks later to get my knight back in the game. Okay, he resigned. Okay, that's a good example of a game that kind of starts off. It was the Torre attack, like yesterday, similar to it. I mean, I guess yesterday was Smyslov, this is a Torre attack. So some games I find I'm having trouble where I feel pretty confident and maybe overconfident, and I make a move that, you know, feels like a grandmaster move or something, and it's, you know, because it's like a slow, like my rook b8 move. I thought that was like a slow way to maneuver my pieces, improve them. I don't want the engine to run. I'm not going to look at that. So why didn't it run right away? No. How do I? Okay. I'm not sure how to turn that off once it starts. But maybe, how do I do that? Huh. All right. We'll just run through the actual moves. So anyway, I loosened the grip a little bit, which I didn't intend to do. It's just I feel like that's where a lot of my games end up. Yeah, I didn't hit... No, whatever. Who cares? Okay. D6 is a popular move. D5. I played H6, third most popular for Masters. Came back, at least got him out of the way. D6 and D5. C5 is not played. Nobody plays C5. Okay. So what's a better move? D5 or D6? I like D6, kind of keeps my structure. And then I can maybe play a D5 later. So like D6, he plays E4, C5, that kind of idea is a little slower, a little better. Yeah, E4, I mentioned I thought it was weakening. Let's go to some Lee chess games to see if we have some data, because nobody plays this for Masters. C takes D4s, gives black good percentages. D6 is also a nice slow move. None of these recommendations seem to say G5. It's a lower priority. But since he white wants to take my knight, maybe it makes sense to play g5. Okay. Queen c2, yeah, it did not like. It didn't like my idea either. It did like a quick d5. So d5 right away. If he pushes, move the knight up. If he ever takes here, I guess slides back. Would I push? No, I would just take here. Yeah, so he kind of has to go somewhere to defend this pawn. Maybe just like, yeah, knight c6. Okay. So instead of that, queen c2 wasn't good. d6, yeah, it likes g5. I played it later, but this makes sense. A lot of my threats are centered on these exposable pawns, but I can take here. Oh. I did queen b4, but takes. If he takes here, I'm hitting this, check. It's an exchange, but I win some more stuff. Probably a little better for me. Queen b4 is not the right move. Okay, keep that in mind. Really exposed center. Yeah, moving back didn't make sense. If he went here, then I did see that, but other knight going back just wasted time. I could take right now. I don't have to play my bishop here. Interesting. Yeah, just win the center. I had a pretty big advantage once he played that move. Yeah, I didn't capitalize on it, looks like. I thought of some other things. I wanted to get activity. I wanted to get rook c8. I was too focused on that. I could have focused on something else. All right, a5. I mean, it's only my game. There's no point showing this anymore. Okay, rook over. Yeah, this wasn't good. Sliding back's fine. Yeah, exposed. I thought I wanted to get here, but taking here first. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Taking here, because if he does take, I'm now hitting this twice. Hitting the queen. You know, lots of ideas. He can't defend this no matter what. That would have been really good. Didn't think of that. So keep in mind when your piece is attacked, maybe there's some countermeasures first. This just wasn't the right idea. It's not losing, but it's a blunder because it's not winning a piece. I don't see anything really good for him. So g5, not the best move. What does it recommend? g5 right away, or b5 right away. I thought maybe he would take here, comes back. The thing is, this pawn's always exposed. Now it likes a move like that. Captures. Yeah, he's hitting this. Yeah, less pieces on the board just makes sense. No, not this. Yeah. He gets a lot of activity. g5 first is what I played. But I wonder right here, taking. Oh, there's even a take on e4. I thought if I did that, he takes here. Oh, he has to do something about his rook. So maybe he takes here first. Oh, okay. My bishop can always come back. That's what I was worried about him hitting. Okay, so I don't have to exchange things off. Taking this pawn, he takes that. I don't know why I missed that. Rook b8. So what was the wrong move? I could always take this. I missed that. I was so worried about f3. Now it's pretty obvious that if he plays f3, I just take the bishop. I don't even have to rush to do that. And this is good because, you know, exposure. He goes here, I'm winning the pawn. Yeah, this is much cleaner. I was worried about this move. That's why I spent some time on it. I think I was about 3 minutes here. I gave him an edge. I didn't need to. Didn't realize my pieces were better structured than I thought. Okay, so I gave him this move because now I can't take the bishop. I've got to come back. Yeah, it didn't like there either. Come here. It did like this. Rook c1, not good. What else can he play? If he captures, I'm taking here. Really? I thought this is just winning. This is game changer. Okay. Yeah, where do I go after that? Ooh, I've got to come back or something. Yeah, it's not good. Ooh. Okay, this is way better for him. I missed that. Okay, not good. Yeah, just keep hitting this, threaten this. Yeah, okay, there's a lot of tactics in here. It's hard to see them all. Okay. I focused on something. I think what I did worked. It wasn't the cleanest way to do it. I could even take right now. Because, well, I like keeping the bishop on. And then this, right? Okay. If he does anything like I think it wants me to... No. I could always kick the knight. Why not threaten pieces? Okay. Yeah, this one's just... It's losing now because obviously up a rook. He has no real counterplay. What's my plan, though? I guess just start pushing. Pretty tough to stop this pawn. It's the next 2 squares are covered, and then all I have to do is exchange off the bishop. Even if he takes, like, this bishop's the only thing really stopping it. Can I just push? Yeah. Really tough to defend. Okay. All right. Yeah, went up to 23, 22, 23. So pretty good. It's nice that there was the same theme. I was played black for both games, but I thought it was pretty good. All right. Thanks for watching.